Hey, what's up guys? I told you guys I was going to be making some more aviation related videos, so I figured I might start off with a post about my favorite and most helpful aviation related tool that I've gotten so far. And that is Garmin Foreflight for the iPad. So I'm going to be giving you guys a little review of Foreflight and just showing you how I use it and what it can be used for. So we'll start off with the Airports tab down on the bottom down here. And let me just zoom out a little bit. It's hard to fit the whole screen in, but let me just tell you guys and I'll put it back down. There are a bunch of tabs down here. There's Airports, Maps, Plates, Documents, Imagery, File and Brief, Scratchpad, and more. So right now we're in the Airports tab, and you can type in an airport up here. I have Daytona Beach International Airport typed in. Up here, it gives you a nice view of some just basic information about the airport. Tells you the flight rules, elevation, pattern, altitude, if there's fuel available, just information that you can quickly glance at. Up here, gives you an airport diagram. If you were looking for where to taxi, it gives you a comments section. So people can add comments about important information. Like this guy said, heavy migratory bird activity in the vicinity, so that's helpful to pilots. It gives you a list of nearby airports and FBOs. But I'll talk about that a little bit more down here in these tabs. So these tabs right here are basically a broken down AFD. It gives you the real AFD, so you can read through this information, or you can read it through the nicely sorted out way that Foreflight presents it to you. So right here, while this stuff isn't in the AFD, it gives you a nice list of restaurants, lodging, attractions, car rental, and taxis, and their phone numbers. It gives you a list of current NOTAMs and when they were updated and when they're effective till, and runs through those. It gives you a list of the runways of the airport, the traffic patterns, the headings, what the displaced threshold is, the length, the width, and the direction. It gives you the current weather status at the airport, the METAR, and then it runs it down in a little easier to read way than the METAR itself. And it also gives you a nice list of close by airports when you're flight planning and looking for an alternate airport to go to. And then it gives you a list of the airport frequencies from approach, clearance, common, departure, emergency, flight service, ground, tower, and weather and advisory. And it runs through each individual frequency for that respective category. So that's a great way to present the information, really easy to access in flight or on the ground. And I use Foreflight both while I'm flying and also while I'm on the ground getting ready for a flight or flight planning. And it is approved by the FAA for use in flight. So that's another great aspect to it. Oh, and I forgot to show you guys the procedures page. It gives you a list of the departure procedures, arrival procedures, and approach procedures. So we'll just go to approach, and we'll go to an ILS approach into Daytona Beach. And what it is it's just basically the approach that you'll see in one of these big, thick U.S. Terminal Procedures publications. So, I would much rather have my small iPad as opposed to this book. And one advantage that I really like about the iPad is that the screen is backlit. So I don't have to fumble around with a flashlight or a cabin light in the airport when I'm flying in the night. And also I don't have to fumble around with all the pages of that book when I'm looking for an approach to switch to really quick, because that's a pain. Alright, so we got the airport tab covered on the bottom. Moving over to the Maps tab, it gives you your IFR low chart, your IFR high chart, and your VFR sectional. Right now it's on the IFR low. Right here you can see a route that I have programmed in, and you can program it simply by going to this bar up here, searching, and literally just typing in your route as you would on a flight plan, and it will give you the route on the map. A cool feature is you can tap like this and pull up, it's like a plotter. It will tell you the direction, the distance, the time it takes you to get there based off 105 knots, which is a very helpful tool when you are flight planning. You can switch over to the VFR sectional, and you'll see that the same route is programmed, but just in the VFR portion of that. And once again, this, I mean, I can't stress how nice it is just to have this little iPad in place of a giant sectional in the cockpit of the airplane. You're fumbling around, and you know, you can barely see out the window because you got your huge book of terminal procedures in one hand, your knee board on the other knee, and then you're fumbling around with this sectional that you can barely read because it's so big, and you're trying to fold it up like a giant road map. So that's a great advantage of Foreflight. It keeps everything nice and neat in the cockpit and lets you stay organized. There's a plates tab on the bottom of this where you can save plates. I only have one plate saved because I just switch back and forth between the two. Moving over to the documents, you can save documents on your iPad. You can get the IFR low legend, the VFR legend, just different legends, and also a bunch of informational books like the Instrument Flying Handbook, and you can download these for free online. It's almost like a bookstore that you can go to. Some of it's put out by the FAA, some of it's put out by private sources, but it's basically just a bunch of resources that you can have downloaded straight onto your iPad. This is now the Imagery tab on the bottom, and basically what that is just a collection of weather. I don't know, it's southeast. Alright, it's having a little trouble getting that right now, but you get a list of these. I'll talk about the weather a little bit more in the file and brief section, which we'll go to right now. This is such a great tool for flight planning, and that is because you can put down all the information in these slots, and basically it's just like a normal flight planning form that you would find with the same information. You put that down, it does its thing and gives you an option to either file or brief or both, and it's actually legal to file the flight plan via your iPad. So you can either now, I guess, call the controller on the radio, you can call the controller with your telephone, or you can file it through the internet on your iPad. So that's a convenience, and another convenience is once you put in all your information and your route and your airport that you're going to, you click brief, and what it does is it compiles an entire list of weather information that you can use when you're flight planning. So you don't have to go to 8 different websites on a computer and click on a bunch of different tabs to find out your METARs or to find out your terminal area forecasts. So it literally just compiles information that you can read and use to your advantage to help your flight planning process go quick and smooth, and that is very valuable. Moving over to the Scratchpad tab, I don't use this function that much because I keep a knee board. I keep a knee board on my other knee when I'm using this. But basically, what this is just a little tool for drawing, and if you have a stylus, you can write information what ATC tells you to do, and various stuff like that. And then going over to the More section down here, so this is Scratchpad, File and Brief, and More. This is pretty much where you get all your information. If you guys are wondering how Foreflight works, like you're saying, you know, you don't have Wi-Fi or internet connection in your airplane, so how's it going to work? What you have to do is, before you go flying, you have to download all your information before. So right here, I have the Florida, because I'm flying in Daytona Beach, I have the Florida all the Florida AFDs downloaded, all the Florida terminal procedures downloaded, the Florida VFR charts and IFR load charts, and then various documents. The iPad, all that information does not take up very much room on the iPad. It's kind of like the books that you download off iBooks or whatever that is. They don't take up very much information, so if you really wanted to, you could download the information for the entire country, and have that accessible with you while you're flying in your airplane. So that's how it works. You don't need Wi-Fi in the air. You can pre-download information and have it available to you while you're flying. What you can also do is, if you have a GPS that can be paired to your iPad while you're flying, you can pair it to your GPS, and when you're looking at your map and your plates, there'll be a little dot with an airplane, and the GPS follows your route, and it will also follow the procedure and follow the direction of where you are on your plate in your plan view and also in your profile view. So if you wanted to add a little bit of situational awareness to your flying, that is also another option. So that was basically my quick review of Foreflight. If you guys have any questions or comments, please send me a message or a comment on the video. If you have any other topics that you would like reviewed or talked about, then send me a message. And I'm glad to be making this video, and hope to see you guys again, and hope to be making some more videos. Thanks for watching.